You're listening to the Running Around Charlotte podcast, presented by the Novant Health Charlotte Marathon. 1 day, 5 events, with a race day distance for every goal and pace. Find out more or register at runcharlotte.com. Now, here are your hosts for the Running Around Charlotte podcast, Tim Rhodes and DC Lucchese.
All right, welcome back to the Running Around Charlotte podcast. We are coming to you live here. Well, heck, by the time you see this, it'll be recorded from the 2024 Novant Health Charlotte Marathon Expo. I'm DC Lucchese. In for Tim Rhodes is my good friend and lead ambassador, Lindsay McGee, and who will be running her first marathon, right? Running her first marathon this weekend at the Charlotte Marathon. But with us right now is a guy who's on more than that. He's chasing an accomplishment that some people just dream of. He's going to run all 50 states, a marathon in all 50 states, and he's going to do it in a dang year. Wyatt Moss, if you're a TikTok or Instagram guy or gal, you probably know this cat already. He has a fantastic mustache and an incredible following, not just among runners.
And hair, and
right.
full hair.
Absolutely, absolutely. Your hair is fabulous. You're like the werewolf of London, man.
DC's
No
jealous.
question about it. But we'll get the picture up of you with your beard. It's a pretty fine beard, too. But Wyatt Moss is here in Charlotte. He's going to run with us hot off of New York City, and you were in somewhere else.
Madison,
that's
Indy,
right, after that.
New York City, and there was a fourth. Oh, Ocean City.
That's right.
So the past,
Ocean
well, thank you
City.
for having me.
The next
first of all.
podcast, you can wear our shirt.
Yes.
That's right. And now you're checking the box on number 47 here in Charlotte. Brother, welcome to the show and welcome to Charlotte.
Thank you for having me. Charlotte's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
You
pulling
just
in.
pulled in.
Yes. And my sister used to live here, and I had never really visited her, so this is my first time really experiencing the city.
Well,
I love running to find a city. I'm like 3 years in, and I learned so much. I did a race before I even moved here, and I was like, this place is amazing. I cannot wait.
This place does not stop.
By the way, congratulations on your first marathon. This is going to be so much fun.
Yes. Well, will you wait like 2 hours for me?
Yes, yeah. we'll see, because sometimes, I can run like a 3:30 or whatever. Other times, it's like 5 hours. When I was in Madison, I had to walk the last, 6 miles.
We're hilly here.
Yeah.
But
I'm looking for hopefully around 3:30 tomorrow. We'll have to see.
nice.
Well, the weather's going to be ideal for it. The course for someone with your level of experience and your youth, 3:30 is totally attainable. Now, the legit question, though, how are you maintaining after almost a year now and 47 marathons? How are you holding up?
The thing that goes through my mind is that someone else is out there doing something way more challenging than I'm doing. And so then, there's this guy, Andy Glaze, who's doing 100 miles every week, and he's done it for 4 years. So I figured if he can do that with a family and a full-time career, I can get out there and run a marathon every weekend. So far, my body's holding up. But there was
some weekends.
Yes,
Just to clarify.
Some weekends. Yeah, that's fair.
I follow.
There have been a couple stretches of time where, I was concerned about finishing the marathons this year. I think over the summer, that was the worst, where my Achilles was absolutely dead. It was after I did an ultra marathon, because there were no marathons for Massachusetts on the schedule, so I had to run 75 miles. Of course, I could have stopped at 26.
No.
If you're there, you might as well keep going, right?
You gotta get the medal.
And at the end of the race, I had really hurt my Achilles,
Yeah.
and that kind of stretched for a good 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
So that was, if you would have asked this question over the summer, I would have been a little bit concerned. But I think so far, so good, and 4 marathons left. So at this point, if I have to crawl across the finish line, that's what I'll do.
Oh, yeah, but you can smell the barn now, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. 47 coming up tomorrow. I got 3 more after that.
What states are remaining?
Yeah.
We've got North Carolina,
Done.
Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, and Hawaii.
All right.
Yep,
So
and Hawaii's number 50. I'm very excited.
Clearly, you do your own logistics, because that is ridiculous travel right there.
That was going to be my question number 1, too.
Can I show you the
Who
official?
the hell does your schedule, man?
Yes.
I'll show you the
have an
official
agent.
schedule. This took me about 2 days to come up with. The entire year has just been based off of this schedule. About 3 weeks out, I'll book the flights. This is it.
There you go. All right.
Y'all,
All it
if
is
you
is
can
just-
see this, it is.
It's a Google Doc, and all it says is Philadelphia, and it has a link to the race. That's it.
All right. Hey, man.
I did all 50 states that
right?
way, and
my OCD is hurting.
yeah, it took me about 2 days, like 6 hours total over the weekend. So once I did it, I was like, all right, it's possible. I can do this as long as my body can hold up. And I figured if someone else has done it, I can do it too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, your last weekend was a challenge, I feel like. I think I watched the video and you're like in a car and da-da-da-da. And I was like, what?
All the ones where I'm driving the day before to get to the marathon, that's where it's really difficult. So, to go up to New York City, I had to drive from Ocean City, Maryland. And that was 2 weekends ago. And it was a 5-hour drive. I got there kind of late and my body wasn't able to stretch during that time, so my body was really tight. Yeah. Same thing happened last weekend with Madison. I ran Indy at 3:24, then I drove 5 hours, get there at 11 o'clock, no time to stretch, wake up, I literally rolled to the start line 5 minutes late because I was staying an hour away from Madison.
Oh, boy, yeah.
I'm thinking bib pickup.
Yeah.
I'm thinking nutrition. Man. I'm thinking, do you have a home? Right now? Or are you always on the road?
Yeah, a bunch of people have asked me that. I moved back in with my parents this year so I can pull off the challenge. Yeah. I'm 22, so I figure this is the last year where I can do that and still be able to, have a good excuse to do the marathons, to stay at home.
Yeah.
Good excuse.
I love that.
Well, the good excuse is it's supposed to they're there, right? It's like, cool, man, right? So, which begs the question, why...
Why run a marathon in all 50 states in 2024?
Because he's young and he can.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Right, I should have said, aside from the obvious, right?
I've had this idea of becoming, a guy who takes on challenges for social media, whatever that title would be, for about 3 or 4 years now. I went to school for a year. I dropped out of college. I figured I have to do something. That way I'm not just sitting at home. This is a path that I want to pursue with my life. There were a couple challenges that I took on that never really gained traction because I just never followed through on the videos. And so then last year was the third year of this, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. Every time I'd see my friends coming home from the holidays, they'd be like, hey, how's it going, man? How's everything been this past year? I would come up with excuses on why it hasn't worked yet.
Yeah.
And the only reason why it hadn't worked is because I hadn't put in the work. I hadn't edited the videos. I hadn't done what I said I was going to do. Yeah. And so then it got to the end of the year last year. It was my buddy, basically my brother. His name's Tyler. It was his birthday. He convinced me, even though I had no money, to fly out to Los Angeles and go to a concert. And it was a great concert. On the way back on the flight, I had the worst migraine ever.
Oh, boy.
It was 4 hours on the plane. I was bawling tears the entire time. The flight attendant moved me to the back of the plane and was afraid that we were going to have to land. That's how bad it hurt.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
And the whole time I was just saying, I'm sorry. It was me apologizing because I knew, at least I called this pain that was coming out of my body the mistakes that I had made over the past 3 years. The shortcomings, the things I hadn't lived up to, the unsought potential, whatever the word is for it. And so then that was kind of a turning point in my life. I got back from that trip and I talked with Tyler. I was like, listen, man, something's got to happen. And so from that point forward, we started running every single day, just as a thing to keep us disciplined. Mm-hmm. And I came up with this challenge. I was like, what's something that's so crazy I would have to change to the core to take on? And, I was like, a marathon every week for a month, every month for a year. Might as well do a marathon every week of the year, all 50 states in 2024. So that's where the idea came from.
Dude, I love that. First of all, erase the physical challenge from that whole equation, but the self-discovery part of this journey, and at your age, at 22, to have that epiphany and go I got to get my collective crap together.
Yeah.
And I have to kick my own butt, right? I mean, good on you.
If I don't, who will?
No one can force you to change.
Otherwise, if somebody else is kicking it for you, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
You have to be your own butt kicker.
There's a certain point where no one else, everyone has their own stuff to look out for,
Sure.
so no one's going to push you to go after the dream that you have. Yeah. If you don't take action on it, time slips away, and then eventually there's no more time left to take it on.
Yeah.
And so ideally, now's the time, even if I knew if I failed at this, at least I'm failing big.
So big.
Yeah, and so who's gonna blame me for not running a marathon in all 50 states in 1 year?
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
Right?
Accurate.
You got to 49.
I'm gonna blame myself if I don't try.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take it on.
When are you taking on clients for life coaching?
I've thought about this.
So far, I found an artist to do my house, and I found a new life
looking
coach.
for this.
I'll just I put out all the ideas that go through my mind online, and so I don't think I'll ever charge anyone for this because my life has changed by talking with my buddy Tyler. He's been my life coach, right? And so then I would say that I've been his as well. Those conversations that we have, the ideas we talk about, I want that to be able to change other people's lives the way it's changed ours. Because it's just conversations that we have. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But after you talk about problems for a while, and then solutions, and then implementation, and then, iterate, improve, all those different things, like eventually you run a marathon in 47 states, and here we are.
And you have
here
that
we
person
are.
supporting you.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
I don't want to say impossible, but it is darn near impossible to do something like that without someone that can check you too,
Yeah.
that believes in your goals, but can also check you and be like, let's go.
And can keep you humble.
Yeah.
Because, it's a big thing to say, I want to run a marathon in all 50 states in
Yep.
1 year. And my buddy's like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Because, as soon as you start, when you do that first one and you make the video and you press
Correct.
post and it's online and all of our friends from high school see it, if you don't finish this challenge, that's a big hit to your ego, but as well to your credibility.
Yeah.
True.
He's like, if you're going to do this, you got to go all the way. And I was like, all right.
Well, and I have 3 kids, and I tell them that same thing too. It's like, if you're a young
I'm not
person,
one of them. I know you.
if you're a young person, the only thing you have is your word.
Yes.
Right? Because you don't have any, for lack of a better description, credit behind that. So if your word is, empty, like, I'm going to, whatever it is, then it's like, okay, great. That person, forget about it. Don't count on them.
Yep.
But like you said, as soon as you put it out there.
It's why I
you're following
whispered to
through.
my friends, I think I want to run a marathon.
Exactly.
And then I would tell like 1 or 2 more people, and they would keep it quiet. And even one of my dear friends was like, I thought I kept seeing your mileage creep up further than 13, and so I
You're like,
figured
"What's
you'd
up with
tell me when
that?"
you were ready.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know me well enough that, yeah.
So I think that's the thing. Most people are afraid to take on the marathon because they have the idea of time. And the whole phrase that I've been saying this whole year, it's not the time that matters, but the distance.
Yeah.
If you run the distance, or if you walk it or crawl it or whatever it is, you've done a marathon.
Yep.
Exactly.
And so my first marathon I did was last year in February. It was 5 hours and 5 minutes. That's not a fast time.
No.
That's a slow
but
time. I was
you did
walking
it.
those last 6 miles in
Forward
so
is a
much
pace.
pain.
Forward is a pace.
But I
Yeah.
finished the marathon.
How
Forward is a
many
pace.
did you do last year? 1 in February.
I did 2. The second one, and you're going to hate me for this, was
No.
laps around a football field.
No, there's
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
I mean, that's just
awesome.
a backyard ultra.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, why would I hate you for that?
It was
It's a backyard
disgusting.
ultra.
It was so bad.
I mean, so will I be tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
well,
it's okay.
that sounds horrific. The only thing that I think would be worse than that is like doing a marathon on a treadmill.
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
Yes.
oh my
well,
gosh.
there's the New York one that they run like around a block.
block.
The
Yeah,
third,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
How many miles is it?
I
3,000
think
or
it might be a
something?
50 miler.
No, it's like the
transcendent.
Transcendence. Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah,
3,000
it's
miles and around a
Oh,
block.
throughout
Yeah.
the whole year?
No,
No, it's a
in
single
one
event.
go.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I can't remember what it is anymore, but I'll remember it as soon as we're off the air.
Of
But that's
course.
neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But you said a word that made me think, yeah, who's checking you on that? Speaking of checks, how about that segue? You're welcome. Who the hell's paying for this?
Me.
You're bankrolling this whole mug.
So I have
Or you
been
in finance?
hesitant.
No.
I have been hesitant to share the finance behind this because I don't want anyone to go out there and do the same thing that I have done.
Amen.
But I have gone into a little bit of debt to take on this challenge, and that's part of the whole story of this.
Yeah.
Is that there was an opportunity that came available. I had a 0% APR loan for 22 months. And I was like, all right, like if I'm going to take on this challenge, this is what I'll have to do. There was like a series of different things, and I feel like all these things happened all at once. Where it was like, I believe that this is not me. This is not like, this is an idea that as long as I have the confidence to take it on, I will be able to pay this off. I will be fine. And so as well, like I moved back in with my parents. I build tables. I have, very low expenses outside of the marathons. So the debt that I've gone into is fine as long as I'm able to pay it off in the next, by August of 2025. And I'm staying on track with it and everything like that. So
Yeah, because I've seen nothing online about
Yeah.
you going like, hey, sponsor me, or
Yeah.
hey, here's my,
well, I want to be careful. 'cause-
Patreon or whatever. It's
yeah.
like,
I definitely don't. There's a phrase I've been using this whole year: no free handouts, because I want to work for it. To pay for the challenge so far of what I've paid for, not what I've credited. That's the thing. If you're going to do a challenge like this, do not go on credit. Do not do it. It's not a good idea. You spend money on things that make money, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, my whole phrase has been no free handouts.
Yeah.
Because I want to show anyone that you can go out there and you can do something crazy like this. And so I build tables, I pressure wash. I started washing windows.
Yeah.
Because I looked up, like, what are the things that make money?
Whatever it's
I'm
gonna
the king
take.
of side hustles.
Yes.
But that's the thing. Like,
so are DC and I. We understand.
I literally go out there and I like knock doors, because door knocking, like,
Yeah.
it's a good way to get clients. It doesn't cost money. It just costs your time.
Yeah.
And so, in my mind, like, it was the only way that I could pull off this challenge, because there were some times where I just didn't have any money, was going into a little bit of debt. But as long as I'm able to pay it off, I think, it's a experience of a lifetime, and I'm very grateful that I've had the ability to take it on.
Yeah.
But B, this is the one time in my life where taking a risk like this makes sense.
Yeah. How many sponsors have approached you?
I had my first sponsored video a couple weeks ago, so I do have a couple sponsors
You've
in play
earned
for
them,
next year.
So
Yes, and so that's the other thing is like when you're building a business, which in a way social media is a business, right? Even though it kind of seems like a fun game that you play online.
DC pays me to do social media, so it is a business. Yes,
exactly. You're building a business, so it's all right to go into debt if you're going to make money on that debt.
Yeah.
But that's been exciting, especially because next year, the ideas that I have cost a lot of money, and so I want to be able to pull off these crazy challenges, to put that positive message into the world, and that requires a little bit of sponsorship, or for me to start a company and make a ton of money. So one of the two. Yeah. But I've had a couple people approach me, which has been fun. But still, I want to be able to show people, at least with this challenge, it was fully paid for. Yeah. Tables, pressure washing, window washing, whatever it takes and wherever it takes me, I'm going to pull off the 50 States Marathon Challenge.
Now, I hope that you are recording the side hustle portion of this, because I am giddy with anticipation to follow that story. So it's like, LPSY, here's the yin to that yang. Here's all the me getting up late, me going to bed early, me getting wet, me getting grumpy, me getting
Those have been the best videos. Is where I post a video. One of them, had like 10,000 likes, however many views. Yeah. It was me in my garage at 12 o'clock at night after the Chicago Marathon, and I had just gotten some table slabs. Yeah. I was like, all right, just I got to tell people eventually what I do during the week.
Right.
And so there we go. And so I try not to talk about the credit, because I know so many people are going to take, risks that are not smart. But talking about that side of things makes sense, because it's like, hey, if you put in the work, there's not a 9 to 5. I'm working around the clock every hour that I can make money.
Can we plug you in? What area of the world do people that want tables need extras? No,
exactly.
Neighborhoods in where need their windows washed. We'll help you. No.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, literally. I'm like, as you're telling me this story, I'm imagining here he is in Madison or Ocean City going like, hey, I'm just in town for a couple of days. You guys need me to wash the windows. It's
I've thought about this for next year.
Please, I have a guy on my porch.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to do it in his hometown.
Man.
I thought it'd be funny to do a challenge like that next year, where I do a road trip to all 50 states. Yeah. And it's fully paid for as I'm going around the country by window washing and pressure washing, because then it proves like, hey, whatever state you're in, I did it. So, I was in your state and I pressure washed and I made it happen.
I love it.
Camper van with a trailer for pressure washing on the back. You can make it everywhere.
Exactly.
But the driving takes more time than the flying, so keep that in
Well,
mind.
you got to have the materials, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You trailer?
I don't know what's going on where you are, but here I see a ton of freaking mobile dog grooming things.
Yeah.
So many. Look, with that hair, he knows how to groom.
I know, right? It's just like, there you go, man. You shampoo those dogs, get the heck out of here, man. It's like, all right, you guys get out of here. I got a marathon. And then you can put a little bed in there if I get it all planned out.
Yeah.
I'll do it. If it means I can take out another 50 States challenge, I'll do it. Whatever it is.
Related, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is not the first time you've done some sort of 50-state challenge, right?
Correct.
And I don't know if you finished this one or not, but you were going to eat a Chipotle burrito, not a sponsor, but you were going to eat an unbranded burrito. in all 50 states. Did you knock that one out? That was 2021, right?
That was the first challenge.
Yeah.
And so we did complete the challenge. Okay. We ate a burrito in all 50 states. We did get an endorsement from Chipotle, and they still follow me, which is incredible. So hopefully next year there'll be a collaboration there, because I love working with them, and I eat it all the time. And that's the post-race meal.
A burrito and running go together like –
correct.
I mean, like running and beer.
The post-race meal,
exactly.
Protein,
right.
Yeah. Well, now you can ask him about post-race shower.
Exactly.
Beer shower.
No, shower beer, right?
Shower beer. Gosh.
Shower beer.
Usually I'm driving.
Oh, true.
Actually, as well, usually I'm not even showering. I feel so bad. Probably about 30 of the the marathons this year out of the 45. Yeah. I have left the marathon within an hour, been in the car to drive either to the next location or back to the airport so I can fly and then run the next morning. For example, like New Hampshire, I raced in New Hampshire. That was a double marathon weekend, Saturday, Sunday. So Saturday morning, New Hampshire, drive down to go to the airport, fly over to Portland, Oregon. So across the country.
Good
Slept in the
grief.
airport because I didn't have any money.
That-
I was
I
going
was
to say,
gonna
what
say,
we
that's
need
free.
is
So
we need a card that has membership to airport lounges.
Well, Planet Fitness is a $15.
Correct. That's
or
what I
$20.
have. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
The
The
right.
hard part is you have to rent a car to drive there.
True.
Or public transport.
True.
There's just not enough time.
True.
But, if you're going to run a marathon the next day, why do you have to shower? They're looking at me like, what?
No, I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm like, dude, man,
I had a
That's
camper
fully a
van,
joke. If I
and
could shower
give
every
me
single
some
time,
baby
I'd
wipes.
do it.
I'm
but we
good
just
to
need
go,
to get you
right?
club lounge access is what you need.
This is the perfect business opportunity. Put a post-race shower at, the village or whatever it's called at the finish line.
Yep. I work the reg inbox, and people have asked for showers. I'm
I'd
like,
pay $30, $40 for a post-race shower, no doubt.
Yeah.
Because so many people go straight to the airport and just fly back home.
That is so true. All
Money.
right.
I like where your head's at. See,
Right.
you've got an entrepreneurial head.
There you
right?
go.
So you're thinking, okay, how can I turn this into a business? So you're on the way to making that happen, right?
Yep.
You're on the way to making that happen. I have all the faith in the world.
One step at a time.
What do your folks say?
Mom loves it. So I grew up with just my mom, my sister, and I.
Okay.
My stepdad, he loves it. My sister doesn't think we're related, and I have to keep telling her, like, look, this is in our genetics. My grandma, I think that's been an incredible thing, which I'll tell you all the story about Nana for number 50. But she loves when I tell her the stories from the week. It's kind of her excitement. I get to bring back these stories of where I've run that week, what costume I've been wearing, the
Who you
scenery
met.
of the city, and everything like that. So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And she has absolutely loved it. But
Perfect.
Nana has been to 49 states. She's never been to Hawaii. The idea is to bring her to number 50 in Hawaii. And we're still working on it. I don't know if they're going to let me do this or not, but I want to push her in a wheelchair for the race. And I got the okay yesterday that she's like, yeah, I would love to do that. So
That's freaking awesome, dude.
Yep.
I
Oh
love that.
my
I love that, man. Good
gosh.
for you.
I haven't done it
amazing.
yet. All right. So
No.
I know.
I
but-
haven't
Okay,
done
but
it.
you have your credibility like
exactly.
we started with.
If this were marathon number 4, I'd be like, oh,
All
that's
right.
sweet.
Yeah.
But you're like, dude, it's 47. I think you're going to
yeah.
pull this off.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think you just got to make sure you get Nana to the to the airport on time. And
Well, that's the
think you're
funny
good.
part. I'll be running Tulsa because I was going to run Philly and Tulsa the same weekend,
got it.
but they were on the same day.
Oh,
Whatever the odds, like how did it happen? There was another marathon in Tulsa the very next weekend
Oh,
that I
shut
had
up.
open. So I'm running the one the next weekend. It's way too expensive to fly out there, fly back home, then fly to Hawaii. So what I'm going to do is fly to Tulsa one way. Somehow, if it's a bus, if it's hitchhiking, get over to Los Angeles.
I thought you were going to say take a bus to Hawaii. I'm like, that's not how that works, man.
That's not how that works.
Not how that
well,
works.
he's run 47. His
I know.
His,
He might be a little,
his clock
might be
may
a
be
little
a little
dehydrated.
cuckoo.
But
Yeah. And then fly down from there. So I won't be traveling with Nana. She'll be traveling with Mom.
okay, right on.
But I'll, once I get there, it'll be really fun. An
That is a
incredible
memory
week.
you will have forever.
Oh, yes.
Totally.
Yes.
Oh, that is absolutely bonkers. I freaking love everything about that. And how are you? I mean, literally, how are you trying to care for yourself? I mean, I get it, dude. When you're 22, it's like I'm bulletproof,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna jump off this building.
I-
Good for you. But you've got to be something.
I sleep a lot.
Okay.
And I have money is very low all of the time. I never have any money this entire year. I've gone into debt, right? But the one thing that I don't skimp on, or whatever the word is, the one thing I do spend money on would be food after a race.
Sure.
So
Yes.
if I'm hungry, I'm eating. If I'm at the airport, it's a $25, whatever it is, smoothie.
Burrito?
I'm going to get it.
Oh yeah.
So, like,
airport will get you. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
so there's that, and then Monday when I get back, Monday's the day where I just sleep. If I sleep for 16 hours, so be it.
The dopamine crash
Yeah,
Yes.
from
Yeah, the adrenaline.
all of it. Yeah.
Honestly, because most of the marathons that I've run, like a 3:26, a faster time, are the ones where I've had no sleep, so my body's just running on adrenaline.
Yep.
And it's terrible for my sleep,
Sure.
or for my I guess my body. But
Yeah.
like that Monday when I get back, it's kind of like a reset.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, once again, there's guys out there who are doing ultras. Like I can, if someone's doing 100 miles a week, I can do 25, 26, and be fine. So.
You be all right.
But you're not just doing 26. So weekends you're doing 53.
And then, every weekend Andy Glaze is doing 100. So
I 1%.
hear you, I
it's not
hear
a
you.
comparison game, but it's like,
Yeah.
I know, like usually there's a limit in our minds of what we think is possible.
Yep.
And so then you do your first half marathon.
Yeah.
This is how it was for me, right? 2 weeks out from the Publix Atlanta Marathon in February of 2023. I was like, all right, Tyler, let's take on a half marathon. It was so bad. It hurt like nothing I've ever done before. It was a 2.5 hour marathon or half marathon, and my ankles hurt so bad that I couldn't walk for a week. But what it did tell me is I can do a half marathon. And so then I was like, all right, if I can do a half marathon, I can do a full. And so going into the full 2 weeks later, I had that confidence. And then I did the full marathon. It hurt so bad, whatever it was. A month later.
Wait, 2 weeks after your half?
Yeah, you heard it right.
I heard,
you heard it right.
A month. Well, this is even crazier.
That's what 22-year-old people do.
He's still going.
Yeah.
So a month later, after doing a Spartan race, that was only a 10K, right? So we can do that. My buddy Tyler and I, let's
Wait,
just
Tyler
see if it's
the brother
possible.
or the buddy?
He's basically my brother.
He's yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, both. Yeah. Basically.
So he
keep up, Lindsay.
a month.
I'm sorry. 2 weeks. Okay, half marathon. 2 weeks later, marathon.
A month later,
okay.
Ironman.
All right. So real quick, as a quick stop down.
Yes.
So if you're just listening to this, I encourage you to go to the YouTube channel and watch this, and just watch the ISOs of Lindsay's reaction to this.
Correct.
This part of the segment. But anyways,
and
go
then
ahead.
also look up a personal trainer for our new friends. Not a personal trainer, PT, like a.
Yes.
I love it.
But the whole thing is, it's not the time; it's the distance. So,
exactly.
so many people, they see the Ironman as the distance, and they get worried.
Correct.
Anyone can do the distance.
Correct.
If you have to crawl and it takes you 36 hours, if it took you 6 weeks, technically you've still done the distance. Of course, you can shrink it back slowly, right? But when you view it from that perspective, the time no longer matters. You can go out there and complete the distance, and now you have the confidence. And then since you have the confidence, you've done it, you put time into the training. Now that you do the training, you show up on race day. And so a year after, or 11 months after my 5:05 in Atlanta, I ran the Houston Marathon, the first one of the 50 States Marathon Challenge, back in January of this year. It was a 3:39. I dropped an hour and 26 minutes off of my marathon in a year. And it's that source of confidence. You do one, it goes into the next. Then you do the training, you show up on race day, you put down a good time. And here we are, 1 week at a time, 46 marathons into the year. Who thought that was possible? I didn't think it was possible.
You have Tyler, though.
Yeah, the double marathon weekends.
Yeah.
When I was scheduling this out, there's no way I can do that. There's no way, But I was like, but if I want to do this challenge, I have to do that.
Fair.
So, all right, I'm going to do the first 10 marathons. And then I had my first double marathon weekend. Well, I've done 15 marathons. I can get to 25. My 25th one was an ultra marathon. It was 75 miles. If I can do 75 miles in a day, I can do a couple double marathon weekends back to back.
Yeah.
And it's just 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
It's really all it takes. It's just slowly increasing the distance.
Now,
How many weekends have you had off?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How many weekends have you had off?
I mean, even a weekend off, I'm fighting demons. So
No doubt. No doubt. You don't get to taper. You don't have to taper crazy, so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
my taper for the Chicago Marathon and the New York City Marathon were double marathon weekends. So
perfect.
Amazing.
Yes. Nothing wrong with that.
But
now, when was it when you said, okay, I got this?
The one where I wear the overalls in Omaha, Nebraska.
Got it.
I think it was 35. And there were a couple leading up to that where I was like, I'm very confident. Physically, I can pull it off.
Yeah.
Financially, I don't know about pulling it off. Then other seasons where I was like, financially, I'm okay. But physically, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then slowly I got to 35. And that was the moment where I had already gone through credit. So I couldn't go into any more debt. And there was a spot where I was like, all right, and I'm a big believer, right? I think that's part of the reason why I've had the confidence this year. It's like, this is, me and God. I'm like, all right, Lord, this week I'm going to run out of money. Yeah. So Omaha is my final marathon unless something happens. And that was that week, the day before I flew out to Omaha, was the day where I sold a bunch of slabs of wood. And then it gave me the confidence where financially I'm good. I ran the marathon that weekend in overalls and did a 3:43 after 3 hours of sleep and, going out and having a couple beers with a buddy that I stayed with the night before, running on adrenaline.
Sure.
And body glide.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Right. I can I'm like,
lots of body glide.
Chafing.
Body
I'm
glide.
like,
But I ran the marathon in overalls, and I felt great. I was like, all right, this is it.
Yeah.
If we've gotten through that, I think it's just the full confidence and the full trust. like, I think this is what God wants me to do this year with my life. It's going to happen. You know, I know that's he's going to find a way. So that was the confidence.
Good for you, man.
How do you
Because I knew
decide
there
your
had to be a
outfit?
tipping point,
I want
right?
to know the outfit.
Pardon?
How do you decide what outfit?
Usually,
Like overalls? Come
the
on.
night before,
Well, Nebraska overalls.
Correct. But then the other, yeah.
for when I went to Des Moines and Kansas City, Des Moines, they call it the I-35 Challenge.
Yep.
It's a double marathon weekend, but
Yep.
it's an established challenge. That
Yeah,
you do.
yeah. That's a real
I was
thing.
born and
yeah.
raised in Kansas City. Yep.
And I literally DoorDashed it to the hotel when I was hopping on the plane. I wasn't in the state yet, and I told the lady, I was like, "Can you please drop it off at the front desk?" I had no idea, but it was just
A
a pair of
costume or
jeans
uniform.
from Target. It's just like, usually, people think like, "Oh, you must have everything together. You're running a marathon in all 50 states." It's a
Then
22
you show
year-old.
your
Yeah.
itinerary, and they're like,
Yeah.
no, he doesn't.
Yeah, there's no way.
It's a bullet point.
Right?
Like, I've got $20 in my bank account half of the weekends this year. Like, there's, there's
You could have worn the same outfit for every single one with a different bib, and no one would know. But
Yeah.
like, I like that you add flair and
Right.
yourself to it.
Well, that's been the most encouraging videos that I've made this year are the ones where I put on the costume.
Yeah.
Because, you have the runners that have their gear. They get out there. They put in a solid time. When someone puts on a tuxedo
Like you did in New York, yeah.
and then they run a marathon,
Yeah.
it just shows you like, wow, like I thought that this was some big distance,
Yeah.
right? How am I going to do that in one day? It takes away all that stress. And it's like if someone else can do it and be so joyful, I can get out there and do it too. And so many people, like that's been a source of confidence too, is
Yeah.
as the videos have done well, that Omaha video started doing well. That was like
Sure.
the triple entendre, right? Financially, physically, and then with social media.
Yeah.
Everything kind of aligned that weekend
Yeah.
to where they started giving me the confidence because people would DM me and say, "Hey, I just want you to know I signed up for my first half marathon because of your videos."
That's awesome, man.
Right?
Yeah,
great.
that's what it's
Yeah.
for. I mean,
Over
Yeah.
1,000 DMs, and I can't even respond to all
Right.
of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course I'm gonna finish. Like I don't I will find a way.
yeah.
If that impact is there, I will find a way. Nothing's gonna stop me now. And I think probably around 42, I was like, yeah, we got it in the bag.
In the bag.
In the bag.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop now.
Well, so now, which of course begs the question, what are you going to do next? Are you going to just Forrest Gump this thing and go like, I'm done now, I'm going to go home? Or are you going to go like, you're welcome? Or are you going to like, I got the, because you've had a lot of time, as my wife likes to say, a lot of time with your own thoughts.
Yeah.
What's up next?
Well, so Forrest Gump ran around the country
Yeah.
and he went back for his Jenny. I don't
Yeah.
have my Jenny.
Oh, right on.
And so my sister's wedding is May 25th of 2025.
Okay.
The idea, I don't know if I'm going to, be able to pull it off. We'll see if this is in the cards. The idea is to go to all 50 states, go on a date in every state, and find a wedding date for my sister's wedding.
That's happened before, though, right? Like
yes,
I've seen
people have done it before.
Yeah.
But I think the difference
by May
between
25th.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a little, there's some pressure there.
but as well, I think most people focus on like them having fun on the date, versus my goal is like to have a conversation. It would basically be like a dinner podcast. We sit down in a restaurant, no one else is there, and we have a 2-hour conversation.
Yeah.
And this is something that you don't get nowadays. You don't have those meaningful conversations. And so then this is teaching people, because the nonprofit I work with in Atlanta called Whisper, that's all we do, is we create spaces for meaningful conversations for high school and college students, and then in middle school students as well.
Yeah.
I want to bring that to the dating scene to show people what it's like to establish a genuine connection with someone of the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it being this culture that exists nowadays, I want to, move the conversation to a deeper level. And so then that's what it would be, is like, all right, as I'm learning how to speak with women and really understand, what I'm looking for in a partner, because that's your life, right?
Yeah.
As I'm learning that whole process, documenting it so I get to kind of show people my mistakes along the way, everything I've learned, and then as well have a lot of fun, because that's what life is about.
So DC recently wrote an article about the run club scene here in Charlotte and how it is, and in many other cities, a dating scene, the run club scene. So are you in the run club scene down in Atlanta?
Yeah, I actually
Like-
run easy in Atlanta. I go there Thursday mornings. I didn't
Yeah.
go this weekend or the past couple weeks because I rolled my ankle.
Single
and I was like,
people
yeah. But
that
I think
morning.
bringing people together to have conversation
Yep.
in the morning, this is run clubs have done wonders for the dating scene,
Correct.
for Generation Z and X. So
No,
I
I think
think
that's
And what
true.
are-
I think as we learn from my conversations with folks, and as I learn from talking to these folks, it's like, I mean, and you know too, it's like people don't want to go, get ginned up and go to a bar like, previous generations did. They want to meet people, and they don't want to
similar
be
interests.
Exactly, and they don't want to be necessarily tied up. It's like, hey, if it's not working out with you, then I'll just ping over here and talk to this person. So it's like, okay, yeah.
There's no stress. It's the whole thing of like you see them every single week. Instead of it being you see them once at a bar and then you have to make a split decision that might be a mistake.
Yeah.
You get to establish a relationship with them over time. It's a friendship that maybe would turn into something. The goal with this next 50 States Challenge would be in the morning to do a run club, maybe to partner with the local city. That's most likely what it would be. With, like, there's just one up in New York City where you wear a black shirt if you're single.
Yeah.
But to do that in the city I'm going to, so it kind of helps establish, a little bit easier conversation with people who are looking for someone. Because I went on a date with someone, which this is going to come up, and, with someone who is also doing a 50 States or 50 Dates challenge. Her name's Liberty. Absolutely incredible, and I love what she's doing. And I want to be able to bring that to the running scene.
Right on,
and so
man. That's
the
cool.
day I went on with her kind of like opened my eyes. Like, yeah, this is what I want in life. Like, I want to start talking with people.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a fun way to really start that whole process.
I think that's awesome.
I'm just going to say that afternoon
awesome.
tea is a great way to sit for 2 hours and have genuine conversations. So if you can find tea places, like it's what it's built for. And it's my Instagram used to be Tea Addict, and that's when he met me. And I was like, sit down for tea. You get snacks, which is very important. And you just sit and you talk.
Snacks with a snack.
Like,
Right?
there is your, that might be
tea.
your name. You can have it. Yeah. Spill the tea. Spill the tea.
Boom.
Yeah.
Tea.
Well, and I think you're absolutely right that, the lost art of conversation is something I think people are reawakening to. It's like, wow, connecting with somebody in real life, having a conversation, and I love how you are using social media to pull people off of social media and into a real life conversation. Because hell, we could have done this months ago online when you were in freaking Tucson or wherever, but it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. And I appreciate you taking the time, man. I mean, there's no question about you're going to finish tomorrow and you're going to finish this 50 States Challenge, and that's awesome. And I love that at 22 years old,
I know.
You're already going like, all right, I'm figuring out who I am and what my purpose is. And hell, there are people a lot older than you that are struggling with the same thing who could literally learn the same thing. Take some time, be with your own thoughts, and figure it out, man. Figure it out, brother.
Thank you so much for having me on.
I love it.
It's been incredible.
I love it.
And if
so
you guys,
good to meet you.
if y'all are not following Wyatt Moss on social, for the two people that aren't yet, please do. It's super inspirational, and even if not that, it's wildly entertaining.
True.
It's
I'm
wild.
always late to a flight. There's always some drama going on.
Oh yeah, it's like it is. It is like, well, hell, at least that's not my life today. So
That Tux in the cab video, just like I was like, oh my god, the car. And it was like, I have this long to get to there. Like, was it like you had how long to get there, but it was going to take you longer? Like,
it's like it's usually like an hour to get to the airport. And 30 minutes till my flight leaves. Something's not adding up here.
I heard that when I was like, and I've been so busy this week that I was like, did I hear that correctly? Yes. Yep.
Yeah. But you are living exactly what Twain wrote about. If you want to learn about yourself and about the world around you, travel, and you're doing it. I love it. And you're doing both.
And we always find a way.
Believe it. Well done. You'll get it done, brother. I have faith.
We're so excited.
Wyatt Moss, thank you for being on the Running Around Charlotte podcast, man.
Thank you for having me. This has been incredible.
Yay! Enjoy Charlotte.
Totally.
Yes.
We love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
The Running Around Charlotte podcast is presented by the Novant Health Charlotte Marathon. Running Around Charlotte is produced in partnership with Well Done Media and Marketing. New episodes are available every week, anywhere you listen to podcasts.